before we get started on this episode, I want to say all the research I've done on this today started this morning and ended around, I don't know, like 3. That being said, this story is in the news now, updates all the time. So if there's been an update since the last 4 hours, I do not have it in this prepared episode. However, we will look up the recent news from earlier today at the end of this. But this is a request from our good friend, Lauren. And I don't know. I mean, you seems like you're really interested in this. You posted it and it is interesting. And I really want to know what you think. I'm going to ask you guys a couple times during the episode, what do you think about what had happened to this missing person we're talking about? Like I said, this case is going on now, live updates, new things are coming out. And if you like this, if you're listening to this on podcast, you can join the conversation here on our YouTube and our Discord. This is a lovely place right here. Well, let me zoom out for you guys. This is in the Dominican Republic, the Caribbeans. This is an all-inclusive resort, Hotel Rio Republica. And like I said, this is a story that is currently going on. And I do want to know what you guys think about it. This is a missing persons report. Here we have the missing person. She is Indian American. She has piercing eyes. She's young. She's 20 years old. She has piercing eyes and a confident smile. And she looks like someone who is comfortable in her own skin. You see another picture over there. Now, this is the person that's missing right now. It's very sad because not only is she young, but she's a pre-med student, 20-year-old Sudiksha Konanki, an Indian American from Virginia. She's a pre-med student. And unfortunately, from when I did my research this morning on the story, she is still missing. And it's kind of got a Natalie Holloway vibe. I'm not going to lie. The story does. And I know that brings back some Natalie Holloway type of memories for some people that remember that case really well, because you're at a beautiful beach, you're outside of America, and you're missing. I mean, where did you go? Are you in the water? Did you get abducted? We're going to get into it, but this is 20 years old Sudiksha Konanki, and as of March, let me go to my timeline. As of March 6th, the morning of March 6th, wee hours of the morning, Konanki has been missing. Now, this is March 6, 2025. This just happened 12 days ago. The search is still underway right now, and it is a very extensive search using all kinds of technology and other agencies, including the DEA and the FBI. Now, this is in the Dominican Republic. So it makes you think right away, number one, why would the DEA be involved? I can see the FBI, but it's just a lot. There's a big American presence there right now searching for her. And the search is quite extensive. We have scuba, we have drones, we have surfers on their surfboards looking, we have helicopters, we have boats, we have everything searching for her right now. Her body has not been found. If she drowned in the waters, her body has not been found. So she is remembered for her pride and her immigrant dream lifestyle. So from India, her parents immigrated, and now she is a pre-med student. She has her whole life ahead of her. She has developed a strong discipline, focus. She has spent the time, she has spent the hours to get the best grades in all of her classes in order to pursue her immigrant dream lifestyle and become a medical doctor. Okay. You don't see that very often in some Americans because, we've been here, we've immigrated generations ago, So she is determined to make her mark in medicine. The saddest thing about this case, if you've seen any videos, is of the father. This is usually the case when a daughter goes missing, but the father, he's not pointing fingers. He's not blaming. He's simply saying, I want my daughter back. I just want to know what happened. If she drowned, I need to know. And that is the saddest part. If you want to draw out a few tears in your eyes, go watch a video, go watch one of the news updates of him doing a press conference. It's extremely sad. But anyway, just like any other 20-year-old student who was on spring break, they go down to a beautiful beach in the Dominican Republic. They want to do a few things, but what they don't want to do is think about their demanding classwork while they're there. They want to drink, they want to party, they want to hook up with a hot guy, and they just want to be with their friends because they know when they go back, they're going to have all this schoolwork and all this pressure again. So this is their time to do it. And that's what she was doing. Nothing wrong with that. One classmate would later tell reporters that, quote, she was the sweetest girl, always smiling and always willing to help. On March 3rd, she arrives at that hotel that I showed you. It's an all-inclusive resort. It is beautiful. A beautiful resort. She has been looking forward to this all year, all of last year, the end of last year. She arrives with her 5 friends. We have surveillance footage of her throughout the night, so we can see where she goes. All right, let me kind of gauge the audience right now. I haven't told you any other details, and you may not even know this case, but where are you sitting right now? I know it's way too early, but I kind of want to get a good idea. Do you think this is more of a Natalie Holloway, maybe murder or abduction case? Or do you think this is an accidental drowning? I know it's way too early, but I just wanted to ask. It's never an accident abroad. Holy shit. Honestly, the sex trafficker thing is a lot worse than people think it is. I'm telling you, you ladies, you need to watch your back because I'm telling you that shit is really bad. Really bad, you know? Here's what we know. On March 5th, early in the morning, March 5th going into March 6th, the hotel experienced a really odd power outage. This is a minor inconvenience, but it later takes on a very ominous significance. The hotel has a power outage. This is not usual at all. Hours later, Konanki, 20 years old, would be missing. Her body, if she drowned, should have been washed up by now. It should have been found, but it's not. CCTV caught her and her friends partying at a nightclub and then at 4:15 walking to a beach. She is right there in the white dress. She's the white dress. That's her. Now you see she is the only one of her friends with what? With a guy. Okay. A bro. I mean, he's a bro, right? He's got a tank top on and I think he's holding a beer or something. And he's obviously taken an attraction to her. And you see, let me rewind right quick. Can you see just how drunk she is? Can I just say right quick, I am not victim blaming here. This is not, oh my God, she's drunk. I'm just saying it's important for the case that at this time she is stumbling. Okay. So you see them walking and you see her stumble right there. Now he's drunk too. You can tell he's drunk. Now what you're seeing now is when the friends return without her. Okay. The rest of Konanki's friends, the 5 friends she was with, return without her. This is at 4:15. All right, let me rewind that again. They're all walking together, as we see. She's leaving the hotel. It's 4:16 a.m. when she's leaving the hotel. She's leaving the hotel to go to the beach, which the hotel is backed right against the beach. They walk down the main pathway going to the beach. This is 4:16 a.m. She is stumbling, and they're going to the beach. At this time, an hour or so later, you see her 4 friends walking back. This is not her. That's one of her friends. They're walking back to the hotel. At 8:53 a.m., is when we see this mysterious man, who we're going to talk about, walking back at 8:53 a.m. by himself to the hotel. They were staying in the same hotel. This man did not know her prior to this. He's a student as well, but he didn't know her. But we see Konanki walk with her friends, and then 4 hours later, at 8:53 a.m., we see this gentleman walking back by himself. So at 8:53 a.m., we see this man walking back by himself. And, he does still look drunk. Now, does this change anyone's belief in what happened? Do you think this man may have had something to do with it? Let's talk about this guy. This is the man in question right here. Now, his name is not public. Like some news stations aren't posting it. They're like, we redacted his name, or we're not going to post it, even though some do. It's just like, okay, I get it, but everyone knows now. This is the guy right here. He's a student as well, about the same age. He's 2 years older, 22. I did see where it was 24, but I'm pretty sure he's 22 there. And he is 22 years old. Joshua Riibe, R-I-I-B-E. He is a land surveying major from St. Cloud State University in Minnesota, and he's also a lifeguard. He is the last person to see Konanki alive. So here's where we're at, just to recap. At 4:16 a.m., we see all the friends, including this man, Joshua Riibe, walking towards the beach. They were hanging out earlier. We do have CCTV footage of them hanging out earlier, which I'm going to show you at a bar. They were obviously hammered, and you see them drinking at the bar and vomiting. Then they go to the beach. This guy, 22 years old, is the last man to see Konanki alive. And at 8:53 a.m., we see him returning to the hotel. The question on everyone's mind is this another Natalee Holloway situation? Does this guy have anything to do with it? Did this guy kill her? And if not, where is she? So after multiple interrogations with this guy, I've seen 4 that he was a part of after she went missing. This is what we know from the father. It's 4 days, and if she was in the water, she would likely have been strewn to shore. This is what her father says. She's not found, so we're asking them to investigate multiple options like kidnapping or abduction. All right, that's what the father's saying. This is from 22-year-old Joshua Riibe's transcript of his alibi. I'm going to read this verbatim. Quote, "My friend and I were drinking. We came home from a party. We went to Pink Lobby, introduced ourselves to some girls, and there she was. We went to get drinks. Since we weren't exactly at the bar, we all went to the bar, meaning the girls and my friend." Now, I want to say this guy's accounts of what happened, which I'm going to tell you what happened, shifted like the ocean tides. There's 3 different versions in 4 interviews, but we'll discuss it. It's complicated, is what, if you're on Facebook, it's complicated. All right. So this man he was a person of interest, but so far, nothing has come of it. He is still there as the investigation is underway. Quote, "Someone suggested we go to the beach. I took off my shoes and socks, emptied my pockets, took off my shirt, put them on the chair, and we went into the sea." Okay, now this is when all the friends were there, and eventually the other friends will go back because Konanki and this gentleman were in the sea, and they were lovey-dovey kissing, this sort of thing. Quote, "We were waist deep in the water, talking and kissing a little. When we were walking to the beach, she was giving me little kisses on the face." All right. This is when this student, this 22-year-old Joshua Riibe, says at that point, now they're in the water, waist deep, they're kissing, having a good time. It's 5 a.m. in the morning. This is when he says that a, quote, "big, huge wave hit them both." Okay? A big wave. And it swept both of them further from the shore. All right. He then says, quote, "I was a lifeguard, so I grabbed her and pulled her out." So he's talking about a big, not like a tsunami, but a wave that has a rip current that pulls you back out, which is a very dangerous situation. As soon as we were able to surface, we tried to call for help, but there was no one there. I was a lifeguard, so I grabbed her and pulled her out. I held her under my arm and swam to get her out of the water. He said it took a, quote, "long time," and it was, quote, "difficult to get Konanki out of the water. I was a lifeguard at the pool, not at the sea. I was constantly trying to get her to breathe, but that didn't let me breathe all the time, and I swallowed a lot of water. I almost lost consciousness several times. When I finally reached the ground on the beach, I held her in front of me." All right. At that point, he says that Konanki started walking at an angle and, quote, "she went to gather her belongings. Quote, "The last time I saw her, I asked if she was okay. I didn't hear her answer because I started vomiting all the seawater I swallowed. After I vomited, I looked around, didn't see anyone, and thought she had grabbed her things and left. He said then that he fell asleep on the lounge chair and, quote, woke up because of the sun and the mosquito bites, end quote. Okay, several hours later, we see the video of him returning to the hotel. Now, does that change anybody's, I didn't even see what y'all said at first. I wasn't looking. Who's in the accident? She drowned. A big wave got her, took her back out. Who's in that camp right now? I need a show of hands. Mad Shiny Heather says someone could have been watching their inebriated shenanigans and just waiting to grab her. That's really interesting. I'm going to show you a video that just was released today, and by News Nation, they got the video, and we're going to explore that. Martin says he is not in the camp that it was an accident, and Wolfie is also not in that camp. I should note that this man declined to answer 8 questions during the interview. This person of interest, declined to answer 8 questions during the interview, including, quote, how can we verify that everything you have said corresponds to the truth? And did you inform the authorities or the hotel what happened to you and the girl on the beach? And what do you think about Konanki's disappearance? In each of these cases, he responded, quote, my lawyers advised me not to answer that question, and I followed their advice. Quote, I did everything I could to try to help her. 4 separate interrogations. They all, 3 of them, I found, had minor discrepancies. Not big discrepancies. They all included the big wave. They all included drowning or about to drown. They all included those little things. But in one version, but it's just these subtle things you got to look for. I've been doing this for a long time. So it's like these subtle things you look for that stick out. In one version, he said he vomited, and when he was vomiting, he saw Konanki standing nearby and assumed that she had left. In another, he claimed he felt ill and he left the water, leaving her in there. And the last time he saw her, she was in knee deep of water. So it's 2 different versions. 1, he's in the water, she leaves. 2, he's out of the water, she's in the water. A third account had him watching her walk along the shoreline at that angle before he passed out. Meanwhile, searchers made this chilling discovery that her personal clothing and belongings were abandoned on the beach lounge chair, which, if he goes out with her, now I don't really know how it was set up. Maybe he just went to a random chair that he wasn't at before, but he took his shirt off. You get in the water, you almost drowned. You go back and sit on your lounge chair with your shirt on it, and you don't notice that hers is there on the chair. A little strange. It gets light outside. You wake up because the mosquito bites and still don't notice her stuff. You don't tell anybody that she's missing, and you just kind of just float around. It was actually his friend that asked him if he's seen her and where she was, and he told the friend that he thought she had went to her room. So maybe he didn't see the clothes on the lounge chair. Mad Shiny Heather says that just seems like him afraid he'll be blamed and really listening to his lawyers. I will say I am a proponent of lawyers. In every case, you need to get a lawyer. The first thing, man, don't ever go into an interrogation or get interviewed by a cop or whatever. They ask you if you want a lawyer. You don't have to pay for it. It's free. And you know what? It may make you look guilty, but at least you're not going to have 3 different accounts of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to be there still hungover, right? Talking to police and saying things, still trying to remember things, and it makes you look terrible. Just because you get a lawyer does not mean you're guilty. Go back to the Brittany Drexel case. Very similar. Myrtle Beach. She comes from Rochester, New York, I believe. And she comes down here with her friends. She goes missing at the Myrtle Beach. And her friends, she had like 12 of them there. They all lawyer up. Everyone online, all the sleuths, I would say TikTok sleuths, but that was before that. All the Reddit sleuths, in all their infinite wisdom, saying they're guilty because they got a lawyer. No, their parents are smart and they got a lawyer. They didn't want their daughters and sons' names being smeared all over freaking eternity by some freaking Reddit sleuths. Okay. They had nothing to do with it. Okay. Nothing to do with the disappearance, but everyone started blaming them, and people will dox people. They'll get their names and dox them. And this happens in case after case after case. There was a case in Georgia where it was a house party, like a football party. And one woman ends up dead outside. She had passed out. And I don't know what the whole case was. I didn't actually do the episode. I just remember it. They all got lawyers. Everyone's like, they're guilty because they got lawyers. And if you've been doing this a while, you're like, no, they're smart because they got lawyers. Anyway, so getting a lawyer does not make this guy guilty. Plus, he's 22. He's listening to his dad. He's a 22-year-old kid, right? But it is kind of interesting that his stories did change. Let me recap them right quick. Version 1, he vomited, saw Konanki standing, and assumed she left. Version 2, he feels ill, leaves the water, and then the last time he sees Konanki, she was in knee-deep water. Version 3, he watched her walk along the shore before he passed out. There's 3 different versions. Right now, we have FBI, dive teams, K9, DEA, helicopters, drones, boats, surfers, everyone, locals, on the search. Her body has not been found. Interpol issued a yellow notice alert used for missing persons, which expanded across the globe. At this point, Joshua Riibe's passport was seized, restricting his movement. This is just a precautionary so he doesn't leave while the case is under investigation. The authorities placed him under surveillance at the hotel. His family alleged that he was detained, quote, under irregular conditions, questioned without translators or proper legal counsel until March 12th. So I know Martin says it's a little suspicious if you ask me. Let's give this guy a little support. All right. Look at this. This right here, the parents are saying that he was detained under irregular conditions, questioned without translators. So he has 3 different stories, but yet there are translators there. That could be a problem. To me, there could be little subtle differences here. All right, let's talk about this guy. Like, who is he? He's just some student? He is a great kid, says his aunt. He wouldn't hurt a fly. I bet my life on it. Josh did not hurt that girl, is what his next door neighbor says. I've known Josh since he was a young boy. There is no way he would harm her or have anything to do with her disappearance. He's described as a, quote, super good kid and a friendly and good student. If he was drunk, as I've read, that was not the smartest thing to do, but he's in college on spring break. There is no way he would have hurt that girl. All right. That right now is the overview of the case. So that's all you're going to get as far as the facts. We're going to look up any recent news that come out. But let me show you this video that may sway, because I know some of you guys are saying that, it could be sex trafficking, which is a huge, huge concern. That is a lot more prevalent than you think it is. When you saw the movie Taken, you thought it was just a Hollywood act. There's a story that I want to do. There was a father, and it was just like the movie Taken. His daughter got abducted, and he found out who it was, and then I think he killed him. I don't know. It's like it's a true crime story, but it's pretty recent. Maybe I'll do it. Anyway, this is new footage just posted a few hours ago. This is still getting comments on it right here. This was posted 7 hours ago. Brand new footage released while they were at the bar. What you're seeing now is the student who's missing, Konanki, wearing a white dress. She looks coherent. She's not stumbling around. This is prior to the video of walking to the beach. She's obviously drunk. She is stumbling. She's trying hard to keep in a straight line. She looks coherent here. Now, the next video that is right after this is what I find really concerning. You see Konanki right here, wearing the same dress, but what is she doing? It looks like from the video, she's vomiting. Now, this is at the bar. She is vomiting behind a pillar. And look to the right of this video. Who is this? That's Joshua Riibe. What is he doing? It appears he is also vomiting. For the sex trafficker things, this happens a lot. I remember a story we did on Headlines not too long ago where everyone survived, but these girls who went down on spring break, or maybe it was like a wedding or something. They went down to Mexico. I think it was Cancun. I don't know where it was. It was somewhere like that. They were drugged. They were obviously drugged. This happens a lot. This is happening in America too. We did that interview with the guy who was in Austin, Texas. He got drugged. It's not just women. If you were a sex trafficker, okay, number one, fuck you if you were. But if you were a sex trafficker, where's the best place in the world to find victims? How about in the Dominican Republic, hundreds of miles away from their family and right at the ocean? You could throw them on a ship or wherever. These guys, I mean, this is a big dude. This guy is a pretty big dude. He looks like a big dude. And they were drinking tequila that night. And I get it. You know, you throw up. But this was not even an hour later from when you see her coherent to when she and he is both puking. So, I mean, I don't know. We've all been there. Now, I will say, you know, I think that when I was that young, I could hold my own, but maybe it's a new generation thing. But to vomit behind a pillar, now I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying, you know, to vomit behind a pillar and then keep going, that's impressive. If I'm out on the town and I vomit from drinking too much, somebody's tucking me into bed. I'm going to bed. Like the night's over. Okay. For me, I'm done. You know, I'm like Miss Daisy. I'm going to bed. Someone's tucking me in and I'm going to sleep. I am done. But well, Nicole says she's puked in places and I'm not proud of it. Maybe that's, I don't know. What the fuck? I have never puked and then kept drinking. Maybe that's just me. Let me talk about a little personal experience. Let's say this guy didn't have anything to do with it. Let's say he's, number one, they're wasted. Okay. Let's go off all of his family and his friends and his aunt and his next door neighbor saying this guy's a nice guy. It's one thing if this guy had a history of domestic violence. It's one thing if this guy had a rap sheet. He doesn't. All right. He doesn't have any of that. It looks like he's just a normal kid. Looks like he was having fun. Looks like he was drunk. All right. He was a lifeguard and, you know, in personal experience, these big waves, I wouldn't believe it. Ask Jen how much she had to pay to replace her iPhone. We were in Sullivan's Island and it was dead. The water, you could see all the way to the end of the earth, literally, how flat it is. You could see all the way. There was no waves, nothing. I'm not lying. This was like a couple years ago. We were just sitting there having a good grand old time. Me, Nicole, and Jen. No waves. Swear to God. All of a sudden, out of effing nowhere, the biggest, strongest motherfucker just came and just swallowed the entire beach. It brought me out to shore. It brought Jen out to shore. It took everything and it was just random and it was just one and done. There were other people on the beach and they were just like, what the hell just happened? It was insane. And this was in Charleston. This is off the Atlantic. Imagine what it's like in Dominican Republic where the ocean basically beats in on an island, you know, permanently. I mean, I'm sure those waves are killer, you know? So I know I'm not doubting a big wave came in and did that. Okay. I'm not doubting that story at all. I'm also not doubting the fact that, you know, he said he's a lifeguard, but they're both effing plastered. You got to remember that. They're plastered drunk. They're out in the water, giving little butterfly kisses or whatever. All of a sudden, a big wave comes in. Now, I'm trying to support this guy. I'm not saying he didn't do it or whatever, or his stories. I'm just saying, let's go on his side for a minute. He's wasted. And now a 22-year-old, he woke up at 9 o'clock and stumbled back to the hotel, still hungover, okay, bitten by mosquitoes. And yeah, maybe it was in his mind that he had no idea where she was. But this guy's 22 years old. Now he's being interrogated by police who need translators. What a scary ass situation for a 22-year-old. He can hardly remember what the hell just happened. He's plastered, possibly drugged, as we saw in the video. He's puking, possibly drugged. He is still, during the interrogation, in my mind, he is still trying to figure out what happened himself. He's probably like, yeah, I saw her walking at an angle. Oh, no, she was in the water. I don't know. Like, do you know what I'm saying? He's a 22-year-old. He's effing wasted. And now he's so far away from home and you have these police and This is a serious matter for a 22-year-old. I don't think he did it on purpose, and that's my opinion. And he may have known that she got swept out to shore, but I do believe he just passed out because he was drunk and he's just in a state of shock, maybe. But he doesn't have defensive wounds either. That's a really good point, Heather. I didn't see where he has defensive wounds. You know, we saw him in the interrogation. The video's not out, but this is him. I mean, it looks like he's trying to give, now we don't have the video, but it looks like he's trying to give correct answers. He's probably he looks like he's still drunk, honestly. Doesn't he? He's just trying to figure it out by himself. This is scary as shit. You're in a country that is not your own by these authorities that they don't want this publicity because they need this tourism. All right. They're trying to get you to tell the truth. And and the guy's over on there typing and he's trying to explain it. That is really intimidating for this kid. I'm not saying, this, that, and the other, but I'm just, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. Let's talk about some theories right quick. Accidental drowning. If, where's the body? Okay. The body might come up to shore. I know in Charleston, I seen a body come up on shore. There was a young kid, and this is a sad story. He fell off a boat and it was like 12 days later. And this is in Charleston. This is not the big waves that push you out into the deep abyss. This is literally in the Charleston Harbor. But it took about 12 to 14 days for this body to wash up. So I think we're going to get a body soon if drowning was the cause. Man, I remember sitting there and seeing that. I thought it was a beached whale. Wasn't a fat kid, but when you drown, your body bloats and it is effing weird to look at. I mean, it bloats bad. Not only does it bloat naturally because the gases and stuff, but like the water. I mean, think about it, your mouth is open when you're dead. You're swallowing. Your body is filled to the gills with water. And that body was like freaking, I thought it was like a beached whale. Literally. It was crazy. And that was in Charleston when the body came up. No, granted, there wasn't the FBI and all kinds of searches and drones and all this stuff, but it's not the deep ocean like this is. So we might see the body here soon. All right. There's other cases where college students have drowned just this year. This happens a lot. The same beach around the same area claimed 4 different tourists in January. Okay. That same beach, 4 tourists died. Why? Because they were in Punta Cana and a big wave drug them out and they all died. 4 of them. The same beach in January, 2 months ago. Okay. Here's what we need. Number one, now there were red flags. Now, not red flags with a case, but red flags up that say, rip tides, this, that, and the other. But I mean, you're a drunk 20-year-old, like you're going to even know what that is. There needs to be some kind of realistic, okay, welcome to the hotel. Just to let you know, don't go out in the water, especially during the night, because there's a huge amount of riptides and they will kill you, But four Americans died literally in January on the same beach. So, crazy, right? Did y'all see this video? This is super sad. It is a riptide that I believe it's an Indian couple. Indian riptide girlfriend. I'm typing it in. This man, this is sad. Heart-stopping moment. Girl on beach is swept away by tide. Look at the boyfriend here. This is sad, dude. But this is if you don't believe a big wave came, just watch this video. This will show you right here that this shit is real. And that shit is real effing scary too. See, it's kind of calm, but you see the wave coming in. I don't even think this is the right video I was watching. No, that's not the right video. I'm sorry. Apparently that person died too, but I'm talking about the one where I think it was his Indian. It was a guy and his girlfriend and it's caught on CCTV, but a big wave, they were out there kissing and a big wave comes in and then he's trying to save her and he doesn't. And then he just gets on the beach and he starts like crying and just like screaming. It's sad. It's so sad, man. I don't know if I can find the video while I'm on here, but it is extremely sad. This guy's just like, he just lost his love of his life. It is, somebody had posted it on headlines. That is really sad. Anyway, So I don't know where you guys at now. That's what we know right now. The Dominican lawyer noted that, quote, every beach located in the area where this one is located are beaches in Punta Cana where you have to be careful because of those waves are so strong they drag you out to sea. And the other big theory is obviously the human trafficking, which, I mean, yes, and I don't know, man. I mean, if the big wave pulled them out, I don't think anyone would be out there, but I don't know. We'll stay tuned and hopefully they find her body. Let's be honest, she's dead. I mean, if she's not out swimming in the ocean, I promise you that. I mean, that would be extremely amazing if she survived, but it's like a 99.9% chance that the tide got her and she drowned, especially being, that inebriated. You're confused. He said he was vomiting seawater. She had lost consciousness. He had to get her to breathe again. I mean, and at the end of the day, man, like you can't blame kids for being fucking stupid. You can't, I mean, in my opinion, it's a terrible accident. I think her body will be found. I don't believe this guy had anything nefarious to do with it. He's been communicating. He got a lawyer because, they seized his passport and they basically, he's stuck there in the hotel as an investigation. But apparently he's been helping all he can. I don't believe he had anything nefarious to do with it. I think he was just a drunk 22-year-old who made a dumbass decision, And someone said earlier that, well, why was no one watching them? Friends accountability. Like, just going back to your freaking, you just got to the age where you can drink, you're just kids, man. Like, if it was a 40-year-old, you would have accountability because you learn these things, but unfortunately, she's not going to get to go to her dream, to medical school and make her mark in medicine like she wanted to. But hopefully her case can serve as an awareness. Like, I see on all these headlines you guys post that these young kids, and when I say young, I'm like 20s, early 20s, they just willy-nilly go down to Cancun and this, that, and the other. And I was like that too, but Mexico is not a place you want to go. Like, you don't want to go there on vacation. You don't want to win a trip there. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go to these places where you're so far off the American soil, where there are predators out there trying to traffic you, and it's just, I don't know, man, but it's just one of those things. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to go and go to bed, and see you next time. Until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.
Run this shit.